There are people who genuinely want to move forward in life. They want to get themselves together. They want to return to discipline. They want more peace, more strength, more direction. They want to stop scattering themselves, stop procrastinating, stop feeling lost. And very often, the problem is not that they do not care. The problem is that they are so internally scattered, so stretched between different things, that they no longer have anything solid to build on. And today I want to start with something very simple. If you do not learn how to focus on yourself, sooner or later your life starts slipping into chaos. I am not talking about selfishness. I am not talking about shutting people out. I am not talking about not caring about anyone else. I am talking about something much simpler and at the same time much harder. I am talking about returning to your inner life and beginning again to hear what truly matters to you. Because it is possible to live for a long time in a way where you are constantly doing something, constantly busy, your days are full, but deep down you feel like your life is slowly coming apart. Like everything is slipping through your fingers. Like you have no real point of support. Like you are trying, but somehow in the wrong direction. And I think a lot of people know that feeling. You wake up in the morning, and before your eyes are even fully open, you grab your phone. Just for a second. Just to check what is there. A message, a video, a post, an update, some person who already looks like they have won at life by 6 in the morning. You have not even gotten out of bed yet, and mentally, you are already inside other people's lives. You are already in their rhythm, their world, their narrative. And on the surface, it may seem like nothing serious happened. But in reality, something very important did happen. Your day did not begin with you. Your day began with stimulation, with reaction, with stepping into someone else's pace. And then it keeps going. Something needs to be handled, something answered, someone called, something fixed, something checked, something adjusted. And even if you do have your own plans, they very easily lose to whatever feels more urgent, louder, or more demanding. By the evening, you are tired. And you sit there with that feeling that another day has passed where a lot happened, but very little actually mattered. And in moments like that, people often say, "I just lack motivation." But I think very often that is not really the issue. Very often, the issue is distraction. Very often, the real problem is that a person has already handed over their attention to everything around them. And later, they try to build something meaningful out of whatever energy they have left. And you cannot live like that for long. Because attention is the currency of life. Whatever you give your attention to grows. Whatever you consistently give your attention to starts shaping your thinking, your decisions, your emotions, your days. And if you do not consciously decide where your attention goes, very quickly everything else will decide for you. Your phone, other people, problems, comparison, fear, chaotic impulses, unfinished things. And now someone might say, "All right, but how do I focus on myself when there are so many responsibilities, so many things to do, so many people to take care of?" Fair enough, that is real. But focusing on yourself does not mean your responsibilities suddenly disappear. It means that you stop living only in reaction mode. You begin again to stay connected to what actually matters. That is a huge difference. Because you can live in such a way that your whole life becomes a response to whatever shows up from the outside. Someone wants something. Something pops up. Something breaks down. Something pulls you away. Something drains your energy. And you just keep responding, responding, responding. After a while, a person no longer even knows what they want. And that is a very dangerous place to reach, because that is where directionless living begins. And life without direction will always exhaust you more than life that is simply demanding. It is not always that you have too much to do. Sometimes you just do not have enough inner order. Sometimes what you need is not another motivational talk, but a simple return to yourself, to the questions you have not asked yourself in a long time. What do I actually want? What really matters to me? What is draining me right now? What is pulling me apart internally? What am I giving too much attention to? What am I doing only because I do not know how to let go or say no? What in my life is just noise, and what truly has value? These are simple questions, but they can stop a person in their tracks, because suddenly you realize that the issue is not that you are too weak. The issue is that you have lived too long without contact with your own center. I think many people have a moment when they begin to feel that inner disconnect. On the outside, everything still looks more or less fine. The job is there, the responsibilities are there, life goes on. Maybe things even look fairly organized, but inside, something feels off. A person feels tense, scattered, irritated. Functioning, yes, but without depth, without direction, without the feeling that they are truly living their own life. And here is something important. You cannot build a strong life for very long on top of inner disconnection. You can drag it out, you can drown it out, you can explain it away by saying this is just a phase. You can fill every hour, you can distract yourself, you can escape into your phone, food, shows, alcohol, constant busyness, endless planning. But none of that solves the real issue. It only delays the confrontation. And that moment of confrontation comes anyway. It comes in the evening. It comes in silence. It comes when you put something off again. It comes when you look at your days and realize they were supposed to look different. It comes when you feel that you are moving further and further away from your own strength. And that is exactly why the first step in growth is not very flashy. It is not about waking up tomorrow at 5, drinking cold water, writing a list of goals, and changing your whole life in 3 days. That may look impressive online, but in real life that is usually not how real change works. The first step is quieter, simpler, more honest. The first step is to stop and see where you really are, without pretending, without performing, without telling yourself the story that everything is under control when it is not, without making yourself into a victim, but also without pretending to be stronger than you are. Just sitting down and telling yourself the truth. I am tired. I am distracted. I live too much from the outside in. I protect my inner life too little. I compare myself too much. I escape too often into easy relief. I choose what truly matters too rarely. And you know what? That is not weakness. That is the beginning of strength. Because until a person names things honestly, there is nothing real to work with. Otherwise, everything stays vague. Everything stays foggy. You just feel that something is wrong, but you cannot grasp it. But the moment you begin naming things, you begin regaining influence. And here is something very important. Influence does not come back when your life suddenly becomes perfect. Influence comes back when you start being present in your own life again. Not in someone else's, not in a virtual one, not in a comparison-driven one. In your own. That can begin with a very small moment. You sit for a few minutes in the morning without touching your phone. You take a piece of paper and write down the 3 things that drain you most. or just one question. What really matters today? Or you go for a short walk alone without headphones, without distraction, just to hear yourself again. It does not sound spectacular, but very often that is exactly how everything starts changing. Because a person does not usually recover themselves through one big decision. Most often, they recover themselves through small moments of presence. And I want to say one thing very clearly. Focusing on yourself does not mean closing yourself off. It does not mean withdrawing from the world. It means returning to your center. Because if you do not have a center, everything will keep shifting you. One opinion will shift you. One criticism will shift you. One bad day will shift you. Someone else's success will shift you. One temptation will shift you. One emotion will shift you. But a person who stays connected to their center still feels things, still has hard days, still struggles, but they do not drift so easily. Because they have a point of reference. They know who they want to become. They know what they want to protect. They know what truly matters. They know why they cannot keep giving all of their energy to things that do not deserve it. A lot of people do not need more knowledge today. They really do not. They already know what they should do. They know they need fewer distractions. They know they need to go to bed earlier. They know they need to reduce phone use. They know they need to return to prayer, to movement, to order, to clarity, to focus. The problem is not a lack of knowledge. The problem is that they have grown distant from themselves. And because of that, even good things begin to feel heavy. Because when you are disconnected from yourself, everything becomes harder. It is harder to start, harder to stay consistent, harder to choose, harder to let go of what is harming you, harder to hear what truly makes sense. That is why this first episode is not about pushing hard, it is about reconnecting. And maybe that is exactly what you need right now. Not a new master plan for your whole life, not another productivity system, not another motivational rush. Just a pause and one simple question. Where am I really right now? Maybe you are exhausted. Maybe you are overloaded. Maybe you are mentally torn apart by constant input. Maybe you care too much about what other people think. Maybe you keep escaping into busyness so you do not have to touch what is actually hurting. Maybe you have not been alone with yourself in silence for a long time. These things matter, not so you can make a drama out of them, but so you can stop living carelessly inside your own inner world. Because the truth is, you can function for a long time without real contact with yourself. But sooner or later, the bill comes due. It comes in the form of exhaustion, chaos, irritability, lack of direction, envy, procrastination, emptiness, escape. These things often do not come out of nowhere. They are the result of living a life that has not been led from the inside for a long time. And when you begin returning inward, things begin to come back into order. Not immediately, not perfectly, not in 1 week, but they do begin. Suddenly, you see more clearly. Suddenly, your choices become simpler. Suddenly, fewer things have power over you. Suddenly, not everything has to be immediate. Suddenly, you start feeling that you have more influence over your own day, and that is priceless. Because a person changes deeply when they recover the steering wheel, even if they are not moving fast yet, even if they still do not know everything. The simple fact that they are holding the wheel again changes a lot. So today, I want to invite you to do one simple thing. Make an honest audit of yourself. Not a huge life document, not a 30-page analysis of your existence. Just a simple, honest audit. Sit down with a piece of paper and divide it into 4 areas. First, energy. What gives me strength and what drains me? Second, attention. What truly deserves my attention and what only steals it? Third, relationships. Who builds me up and who constantly distracts me, weakens me, or pulls me into chaos? Fourth, direction. What really matters to me in this season of life? And do not try to write beautifully. Write truthfully. For example, scrolling aimlessly at night drains me. Putting off simple things drains me. Chaotic mornings drain me. Living for other people's opinions drains me. Never having a moment of silence drains me. Wanting to grow but constantly living reactively drains me. And then the other side. A calm morning strengthens me. Prayer strengthens me. A walk strengthens me. Finishing one concrete thing strengthens me. Order strengthens me. Silence strengthens me. The feeling that I am leading my day instead of my day leading me strengthens me. These are simple things, but very often that is exactly where rebuilding begins. And before I end, I want to say one more thing. You do not have to be ready for everything today. You do not have to have your whole life figured out. You do not need a perfect plan. You do not need to already be the person you want to become. But it would be good if you stopped running away from yourself. Because as long as you keep escaping yourself, you will keep looking for strength in the wrong places. And the truth is, many things begin to change not when a person gets the most fired up, but when they stop lying to themselves. When they sit down. When they face the truth. When they return to their center. When they say, "Enough chaos. I want to live more consciously again. I want to come back to what truly matters. I want to recover influence over my own life." And that is where everything begins. Not with a dramatic breakthrough, not with performance, not with a perfect version of yourself, with an honest beginning. Today, I want to leave you with 3 questions. First, what is draining my strength the most right now? Second, what truly matters to me in the coming weeks? Third, what do I want to focus on more than I focus on other people's opinions? Sit with these questions. Do not just run through them in your mind. Write them down. Name things clearly. Look at them honestly. Because a person really begins to change when they begin to see clearly. And in the next episode, we will take the next step and talk about why one real priority can change more than 10 beautiful plans ever will.